Well, Papa Ron, how in the world are you?
Rod, I'm fine, thank you.
Well, that's wonderful to hear. Sure, I'm glad we have all our friends with us today. And while I have you on, be sure and give us this thumbs up if you like our program. We appreciate it. Appreciate y'all too. Yeah, we appreciate all the comments you guys give us, and we do listen to them. And I know a lot of you have been telling me about C60 and about hydrogenated water, putting the two together, and that sounds really interesting. Seriously, I'm gonna order me some of that as soon as I get paid next time. They pretty expensive stuff. I mean, I know some of it's only 44, and it goes up to 200 and something dollars. Just depends on I don't know if it's the quality or the amount or what. But anyway, it's pretty good stuff. And then a lot of you are saying, I need to get away from that Coke and drink water. Well, I tell you what, I decided I'm gonna start. Oh my. I had to wash that water down with Coke. Oh man.
Rod, you are so funny. But Rod was telling me before we started the show that he listened to a couple of videos. One was on that Blue Rock radio station, Rod, and
yeah, Blue Rock. Yeah, somebody mentioned that Blue Rock, and I did listen to that, and that was really informative. How all those chains work, and I tell you, when that carbon molecule gets together and made into a soccer ball and absorbs into your body and gets rid of the free radicals and gets them out and puts good stuff in. Good stuff. Yeah, it was interesting. I thoroughly enjoyed that. Appreciate you folks. Appreciate you folks watching after me. I really do. Thank you so much. I want to be around a long time too.
Yeah, we want you to be. Folks, when Rod and I got into crypto, and we learned about the market cap and this and that, there was probably 800 or 900 coins on there, Rod. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And now there's probably 1,600. I mean, there might not be that many under, but there's probably 1,500 or 1,600 different coin tokens available now. Yeah. And I kind of, if you compare those to the mainstays, the main top 5 or 10, I mean, you got Bitcoin and Ripple and Bitcoin Cash and Litecoin, and I mean, they've been around a while. Their blockchains have been around a while. But all these new coins, they kind of come on with their own technology, their own, not version of the blockchain, because a lot of them fork off of one, but it just seems that they come on with the latest and greatest. They've made improvements on the blockchain to solve some of the problems that some of the mainstays have been going through. But then again, the mainstays have got, like, take Ethereum. I mean, they've got several platforms that have piggybacked on them and made improvements along the way. It's open source coded and all that. And so I guess I'm bringing this up to get you to think about again where you're putting your investment money. These new blockchains and these new platforms have the latest and greatest, and there's some that are really going to, I'm sure, pay off, and they're going to be long-termed. But that's, for Rod and I, that's the ticket. I mean, we're not sure we want to wait on a platform for a year and a half or 2 years to get up to speed and develop. I mean, what's going to come along between now and then? I mean, maybe something will even top that along the same lines they're working on. So, and Rod and I we're diversified. We're into several other coin and tokens, but the main percentage of our speculation goes into the mainstays, the ones that have that infrastructure behind them and their name recognition, and they're working on long-term plans to be actually used as a currency or some kind of token that represents it. Anyway, you need to consider this stuff and do some due diligence on these things. Just because somebody's claiming that they're ICO, no, you're good. Anyway, folks, I think you know where I'm headed with that.
We do.
And
I agree with you wholeheartedly.
Yeah, I know you do. We've talked about this several times.
All the time.
Kind of where we're headed. But again, we got a few more things to talk about on XRP and Ripple today. And it's not that we're promoting them, but there's a lot of people into Ripple, and they're in it to try to make some money. And when there's some newsworthy things that need to be brought up, we want to talk about it.
Yeah. We're the news guys.
So anyway, we came across this, I guess it's a tweet, huh, Rod, from this Tiffany Hayden?
Yeah, she's a nice-looking tweeter.
Anyway, yeah, I was trying to expand that. I heard you, but I didn't want to comment on it.
I figured that.
She says, this is huge. Cambridge Global Payments, they do $25 billion in cross-border payments, 13,000 clients in 200 countries. Cambridge will test expansion of its blockchain-based processing to include the use of XRP.
XRP,
Ripple.
That's right.
Hey, that before I go any further, Rod.
Okay.
Some of you have been commenting about you hearing a tapping all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Rod and I spent about 15 minutes before we started this, and we couldn't locate what that is at all. We don't even hear it in our mics right now. So if it's annoying you, we're sorry. We're going to continue to look for it, but right now we haven't seen it.
I don't know what it is. I hear it on the video when I listen to our video. I do hear it, but we don't know what it is just yet. It's technical difficulty.
So we got this Cambridge, and they're talking about using XRP, which means they're probably going to use the XRapid platform within Ripple. And I think they're going to start with the XCurrent. Actually, she brought up this Nilson Report here that kind of gave the headlines on that. So we actually went over to the official article of that. And it talks about and kind of repeats what she has said. But she says, Cambridge will test expansion of its blockchain-based processing to include the use of XRP. So now XCurrent, folks, that's kind of Ripple's platform where a lot of the banks have signed up to do. And you can use their cross-border thing to get a trial of it and to see how it is, but you don't need to use the XRP. You can use their interledger. And interledgers where you can cross not just cryptocurrency, but fiat from over several blockchains and come out the other side in whatever currency you want.
Right.
Now, if you sign up for XRapid, you're going to use XRapid for that mode of settlement. You're going to buy XRP tokens. Where you're sending it to will cash those XRP tokens into the currency that person wants, cross-border. So this Cambridge, I guess, is going to start experimenting with XRapid and the use of XRP in their cross-border payments. This is big. I mean, just like that Tiffany said, this is huge news for Ripple. And then we came across this other article about Ripple. Ripple to make a breakthrough in Chinese market this year. And I thought, wow, really? I mean, you know how much...
I thought they were big into other things besides Ripple.
Well, no, China's really clamped down, Rod. They've stopped all the ICOs, and I think they've even stopped all the exchanges over there. I mean, there's a big rift with China and cryptocurrency. And matter of fact, they felt for a while there that really took the market down with them getting out, but it rebounded really quick.
Yeah.
But Ripple, though, if you think about it, their platform is dealing with what these banks already do. Cross-border payments and using settlements. And I guess they've been in discussions with, according to the article, with mainland, the Hong Kong, China, and discussing this stuff and saying, hey, we're not we're cryptocurrency, but we're not to the point like you're used to. We're regulated. We fulfill all the requirements to meet the government's standards and regulations. And I guess it's been pretty successful. You know, they've got Japan under their belt, and South Korea and Taiwan. And I think there was something I wanted to read out of this too. This is the article here, folks. It says here, we're trying to get some regulatory clarity. We've started engaging informally with banks, FIs, and payment providers, speaking to regulators and government bodies, trying to educate on what Ripple is and what our vision is. In Asia Pacific, we already have live clients in Japan, India, and Thailand. We're in active discussions with almost all countries in the Asian Pacific and are finding one bank almost every week.
Wow. A bank a week?
In Asian countries, they made the comment there.
Yeah. Awesome.
And you know, what's cool about Ripple is, you know, their cross-border settlements are like real time. I mean, there's no time lapse. It's like, boom, I hit the go button on the computer and it's coming out the other end and it's settled. I mean, none of this wiring that takes 3 or 4 days, or even Western Union, you know, that could be a nightmare at times too. Everybody's a illegal drug dealer when you Western Union money, and at least they claim that. They're really finicky. And the reason I'm familiar with that, folks, is my brother is over in Philippines, and I Western Union him money occasionally, and man, and it's not big amounts, but it's always a hassle. I always got to talk to somebody on the phone and tell them what it's used. Anyway, it's a hassle. So this Ripple's got their platforms have a real good use for that. You have the CEO of Ripple here also on Twitter, and he's got this video here, folks, and we're not going to go into that, but that's worth watching. It's about him explaining their vision for XRP.
Wow.
And this tweet, I think, is today, March 22nd. Yes, it is. And it was about 11 o'clock their time, San Francisco, so you can get on and watch that, give you a little bit better understanding. But I really think, Rod, that those people that are involved in XRP, Ripple, that they're going to make some money on those.
Yes, they are.
Coin tokens. Agree. Yeah. It's a good platform, and they're so proactive, and they're progressing all the time in their field. Yeah. We're not saying that we support what they're doing. We're just bringing you the news on it, because we definitely want to keep all this decentralized and in control somewhat of the people. I mean, obviously there's got to be some rules and regulations. I mean, and that's why China clamped down. There was just so much speculation and a lot of corruption and dishonesty, and and it's easy to do, and they're trying to, I think sometimes they really do want to protect the people, but there's times where we got to be accountable to ourselves too, and the decisions we make. Just like when you listen to us, man, you got to go out and do your own research too.
That's right.
We're just doing our own thing. So with that, Rod, I think those are 2 good hits for Ripple this week, I think. Both that
excellent hits.
That Nilson report that came out, and discussions in China that they say they might have that going by the end of this year.
Yeah.
Very positive.
Is this what we see, one fractionless way to send money globally is through Ripple? We've already talked about that, right?
Yes. Yeah, it is. And there's other platforms that are performing kind of the same thing. I mean, Stellar Lumens is right behind them. But I think there's some other platforms that are doing peer-to-peer. I mean, if they got a wallet and you do, you can send that stuff instantaneous too. But they're focusing on helping the banks get this done, you know. Help these settlements of people that are sending money cross-border through regulatory systems like banks.
Well, right now, you know, where we are a regulatory system. hopefully we'll be getting away from it, and that's why we like the decentralization of cryptocurrency or Bitcoin and that that's good. But right now we have to be hooked to them.
Well, as many just like that Cambridge. I mean, they do $25 billion.
I know.
$25 billion payments. Is it a year or?
Yeah, it's probably a year.
They have 13,000 clients in 200 countries. I mean, how many other how many other businesses are out there that do this? Just like that one in China, that Lime.
Yeah.
We talked about them when they said they're experimenting with Ripple right now too. I mean, there's so many. It's big business. This stuff. I mean, look how many dollars go from the U.S. down to Mexico all the time. Oh, it's just huge. So.
And then not only that, you can do it through the Ripple platform, but they also go into the XRP. I mean, that we even talked about the XRP that's Ripple that they're using.
Yeah, to settle it, which provides all the liquidity to the bank. So if the bank, if one in the U.S. sends money regularly to Mexico, they have to keep money to settle this through SWIFT and stuff down there. Well, using XRP, they can bring all that cash home now. So it provides a lot of liquidity too.
Yeah, XRP is better than Ripple.
We'll let that one slide, folks.
Well, that's what you kept telling me.
That's just to confuse you about the difference of who owns what in our.
No.
We don't even own a Ripple. We don't even own a Ripple, folks. We're not involved at all. Anyway, appreciate you tuning in.
We appreciate you very much. Ron's always trying to confuse me.
It's funner that way.
He does a good job, too.
Yeah.
He does a good job, too.
I'll explain things after we shut this down.
Thumbs up, folks. Appreciate you, and God bless.